Hi, so this is going to be the beginning of a video series where I just talk about omnidisciplinary thinking. It's going to mostly be just stream of conscious, what I'm thinking, and we'll see what comes from this. What started omnidisciplinary thinking is kind of me doing this analysis of how it is that I solve problems, what I'm doing, and like what are the actual steps to what I'm doing. And I think if we go back a little further, I've got this notion, right? I want to accrue all knowledge, right? And the question is, that's technically multiple lifetimes worth of work. So how do you do it in one lifetime? Well, the only way you could if you can do it, the only way you could possibly do it is if you could somehow compress the representation of what we know. Or another way of saying that is if you engage with the patterns of what we know and you have a nice pool of patterns to pick from, and you can move from those patterns to whatever the actual knowledge or insight is, then technically all you need to know are a bunch of patterns and how to apply them. And there's a lot less patterns than there are things you can know, right? That's the idea. So omnidisciplinary thinking is a way of using, very tenaciously, just using every single thing that we know in order to identify core patterns that keep showing up, core metaphors that keep showing up, right? Like metaphors of what does it mean for something to build up, right? Well, if you have a cup, you could fill it with water and that builds up. If you got a bank account, that can fill up. There's these analogies that we just keep using over and over. And so the challenge with analogy is that if you're too loose or sloppy with analogy, then eventually you get to a point where two people are talking and they're trying to use analogies, but the analogy starts to break down because at no point was there actually a structured, formalized way of talking about where is your analogy healthy and where can you pull this insight and take it there, and where is it changing slightly, right? So what we're attempting to show with omnidisciplinary thinking and the thought process and how you use it is how do you reason by analogy in a very precise way such that you can also think holistically, right? So we want to look at the interconnectedness of all of our thoughts and all of our ideas as a species collectively that we've all come up with, and we want to pick the core patterns and the core applications that will help us do whatever it is that we each individually want to do. So that's all I've got for this one.